I mean, we could be sitting here second week in January and be like, that might be the most complete team in the conference.
All right, New England Patriots are the field in the AFC. Bert, who do you got?
See, I think this is like, and I've gotten raked over the coals for this.
Your Buffalo ass.
I still think it's an asinine question, though. It's like, if you're asking me, are they the favorite in the AFC? Like, then we can have an argument.
Yeah.
If it's them versus everybody else, that's just stupid, right? Like, they're not at that level where you're like, if Kansas City had their record right now, and it was Chiefs versus the field, like last year, Chiefs versus, that's a valid argument. That one is not. It's just. And I know that they did it to get me worked up, which is the great production by Dave Cherubin and the guys like over there the other night. But I do think it's like, I feel like every time I say something nice about the Patriots this year, it's like everybody else is like 3 steps in front of me. You know what I mean? Like, and so they've had an unbelievable year and they've made such great progress. Are they going to win in the playoffs? We'll see.
But
I know you're driving the hype train, so I'm not gonna stand on those tracks. So,
what are you doing post game on Sunday?
Get a ticket.
Which network are you going to be on post game?
Post game, I'm gonna be watching the 4:00 games. Though.
Okay,
that's what I'm gonna be doing.
So you don't do a post game show.
I'm gonna be watching the Rams. All right. I'm gonna be watching the
I want to know where to find you. I want to know where to find you at 4 p.m.
And the Broncos playing the Packers. Like that's what I'll be doing.
You know, Phillip Rivers in there?
Yeah. Colts, Seahawks too.
I would play him. If you're getting him, play him.
I love this story because I know Phillip a little bit. He is genuinely doing this because he loves football that much. That is it. And I think there's so many bad stories out there that we covered, including the story last night.
Yeah.
That like this, like to me, is such a genuinely good story of like he's just got a great relationship with that coach, and like we'll see what happens. And I mean, I don't think anybody knows I don't think Phillip knows what's going to happen when he takes a hit.
I was going to say, it's a good story until he gets carted off the field in a crumpled. Yeah.
Right. So we don't know how that's going to play out. But somebody who knows Phillip told me, he was like, yeah, Phillip's probably going to go, we'll see the stat line, 31 for 31 for 160 yards on Sunday, with Jonathan Taylor having 15 catches. But it's an awesome story. I'm excited to see what it looks like so long as it doesn't end in decapitation.
Yeah. Well, look, Sauce Gardner for 2 first-round picks. I mean, I guess you're already all in, so why not take a shot when it comes to Phillip Rivers?
But I do think I don't mind them doing it just because that was an impossible situation they were in after that game. I mean, for them to have gone through what they went through with Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson got injured a couple months ago by a giant rubber band. I don't know if you guys followed that story.
Yeah. Well, wasn't there a receiver that got hurt there?
Yeah, they ran into each other.
The same warm-ups, right? That he hurt his eye with the band. And it was the corner, right? Got a concussion running into a coach.
Yeah, Mooney Ward.
Tough warm-up.
Yeah, so but to have the DJ situation, and then on top of that, have Riley Leonard come off the field and be like, oh yeah, my knee feels loose, and then it stiffens up on him. It was a tough situation, and you got to do something if you're the coach in that situation to provide some hope. And I do think bringing in a guy with that level of accomplishment can at least give them a little bit of a spark. And they've lost 3 in a row. They lost 2 quarterbacks in that game. It's worth giving it a shot.
So they're on the outside looking in when it comes to the postseason right now in the AFC. When we talk about the field versus the Patriots, which teams do you think are the biggest challenges when it comes to New England?
That's why I'm really excited to watch Denver this weekend because
Who they have?
They have the Packers.
Green Bay.
Okay, that's a good one.
In Denver. And I think that Jeff Hafley is really good at making you play left-handed. So I think for the Packers, they're going to put this game in Bo Nix's hands, and we're going to see what Bo Nix can do.
Nice.
And so that to me I think is an interesting one. The other piece of that's interesting to me is so I think home field advantage has really changed in the NFL. Over the years. I don't think there are very many teams that have one. I don't think you have one. I don't think the Patriots have much of one. I think Buffalo has one because of the old crowd. We'll see what happens when they go to the new stadium.
We've lost 2 games at home this year.
There are very few teams that have home field. The stadiums are too big and spread out. The crowds are way too corporate. It doesn't really exist to the same level it used to. Denver was one that always had it. But they haven't played this big a game there in such a long time, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you could argue this is their biggest home game, Denver's, in 10 years. So what does that look like now?
I don't know. I've done 3 AFC title games there.
Right.
It's loud.
It was a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so what does that look like now?
Right.
I think it's an intimidating environment. It always has been. Like, let's see what that looks like now.
Mentally, it psychs you out going there too because of the air.
The altitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's stupid. You're human. You get it.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, you remember back in the day, like Ryan Clark couldn't play there.
Right.
Like so, like there's that element of it. Like it's that game for me is going to be really, really interesting. And so, like, if you're looking at the contenders in the AFC, you're saying who scares you? I mean, again, like I think Denver, Buffalo, and I don't want to use the word scared. No, they shouldn't be scared of anybody. But the teams that I think are the biggest threats to get to the Super Bowl right now would be Denver, Buffalo, New England,
Houston.
CJ Stroud is starting to show signs of it. It's clicking in Nick Caley's. It's starting to click a little bit, and like it's not perfect yet, but
They just get him to play above average. They just get him to play above average.
So here's the thing: the thing with Houston that people don't realize, their defense has played at this level all year.
Yep.
They are relying on a rookie left tackle, an Ariante Ursary. They're relying on a rookie receiver to play opposite Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins. The Joe Mixon thing was a freak thing. Now they've got Woody Marks back there, who is also a rookie. They've got a rookie offensive coordinator. So at least on paper, you were waiting, okay, like this thing's eventually they could turn a corner here and start ascending. And I think you're starting to see that. Like you can see it with Woody Marks, how fast he plays. You can see it with Higgins, the way he's starting to play. Ursary's not getting beat as much anymore. So like those things start to come together around CJ Stroud. Stroud starts to play like he did as a rookie. And I mean, we could be sitting here second week in January and be like, that might be the most complete team in the conference.
When we look across the rest of the landscape of the AFC, I'm still stunned that Kansas City appears like they're not going to make the postseason. I know it's not the same team, but the fact that they might just miss the playoffs altogether. What's going on in Kansas City?
So this week I called a bunch of defensive coaches who have played against the Chiefs, and I've done this a couple times this year, and the defense has played pretty well. Like Spags has continued to do a good job. They've got good players on that side of the ball too. Like between McDuffie, who has had some ups and downs this year, Karlaftis, obviously Chris Jones, Nick Bolton. But the defensive coaches, what they'll tell you is so the two outside guys, Hollywood and Worthy, are kind of one-trick ponies.
Yeah.
Rice is great, but inconsistent and drops the ball a bunch. Kelsey's a shell of what he used to be. And now you've got the offensive line issue. So really, for them to get the ball downfield at all now, because again, if you consider those two guys on the outside one-trick ponies, what that's added up to is like schemed up shot plays to Tyquan Thornton. And
not a great recipe.
And so, like, if that's how you can get this, that's how you're getting the ball downfield. Now, all of a sudden, what are you going to do? Well, teams can kind of come down and play closer to the line on you, and it condenses space for the two inside weapons, Kelsey and Rice, and you can't run the ball the same way. And so they're relying on Mahomes to pull rabbits out of his hat right now. And it's just, if you're asking him to do that 5 times in a game, then he's Superman. If you're asking him to do that 20 times in a game, that's really freaking hard to pull off. And so I think that that's sort of what you're seeing. If you want to boil it down to like what it actually is, that's what it is. I mean, the defense played well enough to win the game against Houston.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and those picks, like a couple of those picks were freaking spectacular plays. And I'm not making excuses for Mahomes, but you guys see that play Jalen Petrie made?
Yeah.
He freaking tipped the ball to him. He punched the ball out and then tracked it down and picked it off. Al Shahir, like the linebacker, the play he made, like the Texans defense is playing at an incredibly high level. So if the Chiefs get in, they could. Is some of this stuff fixable? Offensively, that's the one thing that gives you pause, is their issues are on offense. And can Mahomes and Reed figure that out? But my experience was always like when we got down to that with the Patriots.
They did.
10 years ago, like I always felt like when you stripped it down to, oh, well, they have Brady and Belichick, that's when they were in trouble, right? Like when it was just like, well, we can't doubt them because they have Brady and Belichick, that's when they would lose. And I think that's sort of where we are with Mahomes and Reed on offense.